Well, hey friend, Alain Picard here. In this video, we're gonna take the theme of the still life, but bring an exciting painterly twist as we take orange slices and create a painterly expression of the scene by using bold mark making, dynamic edge variety, and exciting complementary color contrast to take this motif and really elevate it to an expressive interpretation that delights the viewer's senses. I can't wait to get right into this, so let's get started. Sort of the vocabulary of the painting that we're developing. A little bit of value into that side, even though it's the fruit itself being lit, there is some value there. I'm going to go into a warmer, stronger color here in the mid-tone, much more chroma. And now we're really starting to get some color as we indicate the form of the orange as a sphere. I really see this color at that front edge of the slice as well. I'll tell you, keep squinting so we keep connected with the really simple value shapes and the relationships. We don't want to fall into the little things, okay? Squinting will help us maintain the large mass relationships at this point. I'm seeing that color kind of flirt at the perimeter of that orange slice. Beautiful. I need a little more in here, and I think I'm going to go cooler into red violet. So I'm looking, let's try something. Let's try this and we'll see how it works. So this is a red violet cooler color. I don't know if it's dark enough. I like the color in the shadow, but let's step it all the way down to the darker red violet. There's a real shade of red violet. And who knew, right? Inside the shadow side of an orange, you'd have essentially some version of magenta. But with all this blue, that orange is getting infused with color. And it can be an interpretive, expressive choice that you make as well. As long as the value and the color temperature makes sense, you can interpret color in wonderful ways. So again, at that kind of back edge of this fantastic shape, this orange slice, is just a wonderful shape to play with. We continue to build this up. Of course, no light value shapes yet, just the bare tone of the paper in those light value areas. Little breakup of an edge at times. I'll just, hatch and sketch at something to keep a sense of loose and a mark-making vocabulary in the painting. Squint, squint, squint. See that rich dark right underneath that orange. Yeah, maybe a little more over here. Now, when I made those linear strokes, I'll tell you, it was pretty strong. I was heavy-handed with them. I really wanted to chop in and under. Okay, now I am ready to jump into the orange family. Let's start over in the glowing character on the left. Now for me, who's the star of the show here? Well, is it this guy, this one, this one? I like the relationship between the conversation happening between these two slices. So I'd love to sort of convey that sense that it's about that flow and relationship of the two. So I'm bringing some of that wonderful, warm, glowing orange. This is full cat orange. Really soft pastel. Bring it right in. Linear stroke, nice strong stroke. Don't be afraid of this color. It's It's a beautiful color. If you do go into your blue family with the orange, you're going to need to wipe that off on your paper towel to make sure you're making clear, fresh marks. You want, in order to have this color read and really sing, it needs to be delivered fresh, and we don't want to muddy it up by dragging it all over the blue and then bringing it back into the orange, okay? So anywhere I'm seeing this color, I'm just now going to deploy it, use it. Right at that edge. Start bringing it toward the mid-tone core shadow. Inside of those other warm marks that we made. We want that transition. We don't want to go straight from a cool dark value background into a light warm. We need to transition through. Okay, great. I'm going to go lighter. So I've got that orange family, and I'm essentially stepping my way up lighter in value through the oranges. That's the virtue of pre-selecting, that I can just grab them and go. Makes the painting process smoother, faster, if I put a little thought and intention into that. Now I'm leaving the rind as the paper for the moment. Just that beautiful, look at that beautiful glowing orange. And now as we put that on the painting, it's happening. The blue is there and we're getting the complementary stimulation of those two colors. I don't see any of this orange in here. Goes much lighter. Now, of course, I can push this orange back if it's, I don't need to use the same degree of chroma. We'll start with a bit of this and see if it needs to be neutralized. All right, I want to hit that glow up top. We're getting actually quite a bit higher into a gold or a yellow orange, as you can see. Now this is a very, very chromatic, radiant color. Tons of pure chroma here. Little drag over this just to get those colors to interact with each other. Perhaps just a touch of this at the top edge. That light strikes this slice and gets lighter in value quickly. Squint, squint, squint. Keep that sense of the form simple. All right, I'm going to move into the yellows for that area. Okay, we've got cad yellow here on that light side of the orange. And lots of little stippling, but I don't know if I want to go as light back here. We'll see. Come into this area, heighten that light value. Get some of the wonderful little irregularities of the slice as it's cut and the pulp emerges. Come right into this side. Now we've got the edge that is visible and even lighter. So I'm going to go into those lights now with a really light yellow, some creamy light yellows, even a lightest light here, and a neutral, a little less chromatic yellow as well, because that was an awful lot of chroma. We might have to back off of that. I like having little pieces of soft pastel so I can make smaller marks and get in there. Also because I want to get my full value out of a pastel. Won't waste any of it. Use it right until it's gone. So that rind lightening up on us. See the mark making there? We can suggest that shape and just, perhaps leave some things. Don't need to express every little, or describe perhaps every little observed element. We want to make a suggestion. I'm actually going to come in with this lightest light and just cut in at that edge. Good, it's getting sharp edge, so we're gonna have to look for some strategies to, deal with that edge. Bring a little bit of lighter value up onto the orange. Okay, I'm gonna step back. Painting like this, I'm gonna step back, get the impression of the whole. That is so important to be able to make those decisions about edge variety. Where do I need to break some edges, loosen some things up? So I'm gonna come in and just break some edges with this paper towel here and there. Just loosen it up, things that we can work back on top of, but that are gonna give us a little interest and activity. Even just rubbing that pigment a bit. Instead of adding another big stroke, I can just rub at it. Let that sit behind the slice. You can see that blue from the paper towel. I don't want to put that into the orange, so I'll use the other side. Now you can't blend with paper towel on all sanded surfaces. This is a softer surface, so it allows for blending. You might need to use a different tool like a brush or something if you're using a sanded, like a real coarse sanded surface. Just pull at that a bit into the shadow, break that. See how that just gets softer and quieter. Beautiful. Let that form turn in this crescent shape. I want to get some atmosphere into my shadows. Really let that. And see, as I pull down, I can go over again with the negative shape or the tabletop and carve back out anything I need. Another method, I do like these, these soft hake brushes, and I'll, like I said with this, it feels a little hard edge, so I'm gonna let it move a bit. Scumble in, kind of scrub in with it, and let that just get a little atmospheric on that side of the orange. Beautiful. This gray is already starting to give me, a version of that rind. I was intending to bring some green ochre in. I will bring a little. See if I take a look. That looks a little light. Let's test some of this out. Just test it out. Very, very light hand, just a touch to introduce that greenish ochre into that rind. Almost enough. I think it gets really dark up through here. Trying to discern, maybe just gray. That's not quite dark enough. This is a greenish gray. I don't want to overdo that. I'm going to stop right there. And we're going to jump back over. I often think about, working on a painting, you've got your positive shapes, the orange slices, your negative shapes, the surrounding, and, working back and forth is important. So I'm going to come back to the surrounding area and build up some more color and value, some more interest, richness. This little area that goes behind that slice is important to me. I just need a bit more up top, so come back with a greenish dark. Let's push in. Feels like it just needs to sit back there in this painting. So now the cooler blue-green against the warmer ochre, just mixing up that. Love the way that there's a soupy atmosphere around this environment. So I'll break that tabletop edge down a bit and then come back in. Here's a deep, rich blue. Pull a bit back out. Back and forth, back and forth. Dynamic edge relationships as we build and overlap these shapes. A little bit of carving on that cast shadow edge. Let's bring some more value in back here, some dark value. I just cut in on the red violet. There was a lot of it, so I just cut in with this navy. It's a very sculptural approach where we push and pull at the pigment. Come under and restate that nice dark accent. Really created some atmosphere in those shadows. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to come back to very strong chroma. So let's, I'm going to bring out this wild blue. Love it. Got a little high there. Pull the finger, break the edge. I try not to overuse my fingers, but they are definitely good edge manipulation tools. We're getting the color to really pop and communicate now in this conversation. It's a color conversation, it's a mark-making color conversation, it's a, you know, conversation of the meeting of the slices. Let's go a little darker again. Just that little bit of shift in color and chroma, in the hue and chroma, is so helpful in creating interest. Break that edge here and there. Here we go, we're just telling that story. Maybe push it down the slightest bit more. Break it. My fingers come out late in the painting. I think early on it's time for mark making, especially with a painting like this. Okay, a little bit of jumping into the violet family is in order. Okay, so let's try some rich blue violet. That's too rich. Let's try this one. Yeah, this will work. Just breaking up and bringing in, again, that a different color. Let that sit up there. I didn't like the light value, but I think this little airy violet will help. And then bring it back down the bottom. That's beautiful. Just taking another look at the slices themselves. You know, I don't want to, you know, work as if it's going to make the painting better. I just want to capture the feeling of that pulp in a suggestive way. This is a little bit of a very light tint of pink. And just one more time with a very light tint of creamy yellow. Okay, as we finish, I think a little flash of high chroma, like the orange and maybe a hot pink, in very, just a few little moments, can be a nice touch. I'm going to go into a pink, almost an orange. It's a beautiful little sparkle there of color. Sometimes I'll test out if the painting needs a touch of the color somewhere, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is cad red, light, and just in between the cast shadow and the warm, I'm just going to drop a little bit of it. Little goes a long way. This one doesn't do it for me as much. Cover that up. I want to look at my edges. I feel like I could break this edge over here toward the background, like let it go a little bit, just to open that up. Coming under this. Just bringing that under one more time with blue, follow that cast shadow. Well, I like the way this reads. I don't like that little dark red violet there. I think the breaking of the edges is working. It's actually important not to overcook this kind of a moment. I'm going to lighten that up right there, just so that little note doesn't get too strong. Let's just put a little more orange back over it. That looks good. Beautiful. Well, we set out to create a painterly expression of this citrus-inspired theme, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. We've played with bold mark making, a real dynamic edge variety. We used complementary orange and blue to create a color stimulation in the painting that really excites the viewer. And we kept it loose, didn't overwork the painting so that we could create an expression of the moment. So much fun. It's been such a joy to share this experience together with you. And I'd love to see you again. You can visit my website at picardstudio.com for free lessons and guides, as well as keep in touch with me on Instagram at Alain Picard. Until the next time, take care and keep painting.